Hey there, and welcome to the Bush Fix Garage channel. This video is a little out of band for the channel, but since I'm trying to create content for the channel and I'm having problems with content, I figured I'm going to go ahead and post this video on how I solved this issue I'm having with MP4s, some MP4s off my Hero 9 Black cameras. It wasn't all files. As you can see, a lot of my content's properly showing thumbnails, but where I ran into problems was where the thumbnails don't show up in these default player icons show up. So my default player is the VLC media player, pretty well known, especially in the IT world, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But I had 3 projects that this happened in. I had bees for a while, a bear attacked the hive, and I was unable to recover them. That'll be going up on the Bush Fix Farm channel, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And then this clearing land on the, working the land around here. And then what else? The garage. Lost a lot of content on the garage. I actually deleted all my footage at one point and thought it was just gone and was about to give up on creating content and posting because of this happening. So let's get into how we go about what I did fixing these files. And I'll show you here. These were all good files already. And these were files that came off my camera defunct in, some way. I spent a month and a half online, felt like evading spyware, malware, watching YouTube videos. And one video did recommending using VLC player, but it was a different process. I'm not going to go into it because it didn't work. I found this on my own. I'm not saying I discovered it, but I found it on my own. Those are different things. So let's get to this. First thing we need to do is download the VLC player. This is a very well-known product. I'm going to help. We're going to go to their webpage. Very respected product, in my opinion. It's free. You can donate to them. I have in the past. I've deployed this at work in an enterprise. I work in IT as a systems engineer. Not that that's terribly important. I'm just saying, I've used this. I'm running it on my system. You can tell I use this system, So be sure you only get it from here. I don't trust anything from anywhere but the main website. And then I'm even, suspicious of that. But I have downloaded this. I've used it for a long time. I trust this product. I have no affiliation with this product or any other company or organization, mind you. Say that once. Everything I'm going to be showing you here, it's just me posting a YouTube video online, hoping to help somebody else out that struggled with this like I did. It really sucked. I was defeated when I found these files. I went to my editor. This is where I found the problem. Now, mind you, some of these files would play in the player and some wouldn't. I'm not going to go into that. That's really not the main problem I was having. The main problem I was having, let's take one that was broken, and then here's the one that I fixed using the VLC player that I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm not trying to stall. I just need to explain the whole situation. This was what I was experiencing. So the non-functioning file would say media offline. Now, if I drag these both down to the timeline, they both have audio. Okay. So now we can go to the working one and hear that same audio. And see video. Okay. So I have. All right. So that proves, somewhere I got a working file here, right? Okay. Let me show you how. Let's cut to the chase. So the first thing I do, and I want to encourage you to do, if you are going to do this on your own, mind you, I'm not advising you do anything. This is a video on YouTube. Stuff is dangerous. You can't, process, somebody can make a mistake they didn't foresee. You might be having a different issue than me. I think this is a pretty common issue that I experienced, and I think this process I have will fix this for a lot of people if they wanted to use this. I'm just gonna try to find some files by size. I want smaller files. So the smaller ones are down here. There's a 307 megabyte file. That's big. That's really big. Yeah, well, we only need the first one really for the purposes of this example. So I'm creating this in a temporary location. I'm copying my content somewhere else. If you only have one copy of your content, get a backup of it. And then do this in a third place. That's my recommendation. If you only have your content in one location, copy it from the original location to another drive or another place. I made mistakes discovering this process myself and overwrote my content by mistake. Fortunately, I had backups on another drive. It's complete replicas. Okay? So twice I overwrote my content. Totally goofed up. Here's the two pieces of content we're going to use. Now, the other thing I found about doing this was if I just open the VLC player and try this process, once in a while it would convert one of my files, but if I was doing a batch of files, which this process can do, it wouldn't always work. It would do one or the last one and skip all the others. And we'll cover that a little bit more in a minute. Okay, so the thing I found was that you have to run this as administrator. Now, I don't run in an elevated account on anything. So you might have to come here and type VLC because you don't have it on your start bar yet if you just installed it. Mind you, if you need to install it, pause the video and then come back and play it again and catch up. Okay, you can run as administrator here. So it's right click, and then left click, run as administrator. Okay, the screen's going to black out for a second because I'm typing in a password. It's just showing my username and doesn't show the password. And I should be back. Okay, now we're running as an administrator. It's running in an elevated account with complete privileges on the system. Okay, next step we're going to do is go to Media, Convert and Save. We're going to go add our files. Now, this is the 8th time I've tried to create this video. I was having some audio problems, hoping they're fixed. I said in the last iteration I wasn't going to recreate it if my mic audio was bad. It was so bad, I went and studied on how to hopefully make this mic run better. But anyways, we're going to open this and then come down here. Got our file selected here. Then we're going to click this little down arrow, select Convert. Okay. Now, if you haven't run this before, this will be blank. So I've run all my files with the H.264 plus MP3 format, profile. I also experimented with the YouTube HD format. I ended up just using this though. You can customize all this. That's up to you. I don't care beyond just getting your files back or my files back, resolving this problem. Here's the trick with doing multiple files. If you don't click this, it's going to overwrite your original files. That's what I did earlier. And overwrote my existing files. Fortunately, I had that backup. And fortunately, when I deleted all my content because I thought it was lost, I hadn't deleted it permanently. It was all still here in the recycle bin. Here's some copies of it. It's just some stuff I've actually cleaned up that I don't want to use too. So I was able to basically recover all my content with this process. Now, we're going to just go ahead and start this. Be sure you click this, and we're going to see it create its first file. It does them one at a time. Now, if this is running really fast, you're probably not running as an administrator, and it's not functioning. It's creating the file, but it's not putting content in it. So while that runs, I'm going to stall for a minute and take you over to this is where I'm going to post this video, and I'm just going to ask you right out if you'll support my channel, please. Like, subscribe, and there's not a lot of content here. I have a lot of content to edit. It's going to take a lot of time. I have this channel where everything automotive is going to go, and in this case, something technical that was causing me a problem posting to this channel. Kind of loops back to itself, the whole problem and resolution. So this channel is more focused on problem resolution. And not even automotive necessarily, just DIY, figure shit out, and solve problems like this one. My other channel is more focused on developing this property I live on, and then the shop is to fix the equipment that I use to work on the property. So this channel will be more dedicated to like last week my well pump failed. I was able to solve that on my own. Fortunately, I didn't have to pull the pump. There's just a couple of videos up here. I have a ton of content to put up here I need to edit, but there's just me running the tractor and the chainsaw and clearing an entire drain field of sticker bushes and trees, and then my well pump failure. So if you could hit both those channels up, I appreciate it, and I won't beg anymore. Thank you for watching this video, and I do hope it helps you out with your content, because you're probably a content creator too. So this does take a while, even on these small files. What I did with the first batch, I was using my system, and it was running and consuming all of my system resources. It will CPU bind your system. It's doing something super intensive, copying the data over to the new file. And I don't know what that is or why it is. I mean, I work in IT and I don't even care. It fixed my files. So what I did on the second two batches on the other projects was I set the batch, and then I went to bed. I set it to run. I was going to go hit the hay. And, some of these files are 3.72 gigabytes or something like that. And I had 20, 30 of them, and it ran 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, and just let it run while I was sleeping. So you might consider that. Okay. This one's almost done. Let's look at our temp folder. And then we'll drop our fixed and broken files back in our editor and see that we have a working file now. Okay, so the first one just finished. Now, I only put the two files in there to show you the batch process, and then we're going to go through the single file process because it is a little different. But I wanted to show you the batch process so you understood that, and clicking that append option. Super important, especially if you haven't backed up your content. Okay, let's just drag all three of these files, so 2 brokens and 1 good. And we'll just drag them here to the media pool. Okay. And then I'll drag a broken file down. Zoom out a bit. And drag a good file down. And now we can see that we have this one. No, okay. No video. So I have. Okay. And we'll go to the fixed file with video. There you go. Okay. Yeah, easy enough. Okay, let's go do a single file, because that's a little different. Just gonna clear the editor out here. Okay, so a single file, and you can just leave this open. I'm gonna stop this. Can I just stop it? No, I've in the previous videos I was closing it. So we're gonna run VLC Player's administrator again. We'll clean up the folder, and then we'll do an individual file. Yeah, it was crazy. I really thought a few times I had it from these resources online, the forums and the web posts and the videos. But every time it just felt like I was getting led down a path to install spyware. And okay, so again, media, convert and save. We're going to add our one file this time. And now, because it'll complain about that file being there, I'm just going to delete these. Again, all my files are recovered, so I don't care about these. Okay, so again, convert and save. Convert. And now, because we're doing a single file, mind you, the codec's already selected because I've run this before. Again, if you haven't run this, select one. I advise the H.264. We're going to browse for our one file, and then you just start it. It's that simple. And, oh, wait, it still thinks there's, oh, I almost made the mistake there. Let's start over. Now the file will be listed in there. Convert and save. You got to change the name of the file. So you basically just almost manually did what the batch process does without the append option. Okay, now we won't get the overwrite and screw up our original content. Okay, so in the previous videos, I let this finish. I let it run and then showed you that we can see that same file converted to a single file rather than the batch process in the editor. I don't think I'm going to do that here. I'm kind of tired of creating this video at this point, and good enough. I really do think this will solve most people's problems with their files. I hope so. It was a big win for me. I was ready to darn near jump up and run around for a minute. It was a glorious moment. I don't know how many hours I had in creating this content between these different projects. This one was huge. This is months of content. Over like 3 months took me to rebuild the whole top of this garage. This video I'll be trying to edit here soon and post. It's a really interesting one. I rebuilt the entire top structure. It was all rotted out, sagging. The whole roof line was sagging. So there's a little sneak peek for you. Oh, there's me. Jeez, I'm so fat I can't even get in between the soffit there. But I'm tarping the roof because it's fall. It's raining a lot. So I devised a system where I can throw ropes over with dog balls with holes in them and rocks stuffed in them. I can throw the tarps over and pull them myself when it's going to start to rain. But yeah, this is a huge project. Now I'll give you one more sneak peek. These beams inside were sagging, and I bought metal plate and punched holes in it. Oh, this is still running, eating up my resources. And took the sag out of these beams. These beams weren't the right size beam for the span. So I got a 1/4-inch plate. Each side has 1/4-inch plate, and I used 52 total bolts between the two spans and jacks to solve this sagging problem on these beams inside. So pretty cool. But do the whole video. There's a sneak peek for Bush Fix Farm. Anyways, thanks for watching, and again, I really hope this helps you. And if you leave some comments for me, if it does, I'd love to hear it. It would make me really happy to know other people had this problem solved. So anyways, take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next one.